ain't going away. They told me I was wrong, but look at my ass today. Da 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 da.
Yo YouTube, what's up? I'm Tim, he's Justin. This is a Cash Killer AC Sports Report and Sports News Insider Week 5 NFL predictions. And Justin, let's get right into it. Game 1 on the dock. We got Eagles at Bills. What do you think?
I got the Eagles knocking off the Bills. I think Michael Vick announced earlier saying that the whole Dream Team thing is over, and now I can see the Eagles coming back in this game and taking it over the Bills. It's not going to be a large margin game, but it's going to be somewhat close. And
what do you have as a score?
I think it's going to be Philly 27, Buffalo 24.
I think the Bills are going to win this. I'm an Eagles fan, and I'll admit that. The Eagles have problems stopping the run. I think if you have Fred Jackson in fantasy, you'd be a fool not to start him tomorrow. They're having issues totally all defense. Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't great, but he's pretty good. And the Bills, I think, will stop the Eagles enough on offense to win this game. I got the Bills in this one, 27-17. Game 2, you got Kansas City and Indy. What do you think?
Now, I'm not hyped up on Indianapolis' decision to go with Curtis Painter. There's still a quarterback in free agency in which I thought Indianapolis would go for. That was David Garrard. And Curtis Painter, I think he's going to fall again this week. Colts will start the season 0-5. I got Kansas City taking out Indianapolis in this one, Tim.
Yeah, I see Matt Castle doing just enough to win this game. I got the Colts losing 13-10 and dropping to 0-4. The Chiefs are pretty bad, though, so I wouldn't be surprised no matter which way it goes. Game 3, you got Arizona and Minnesota. Fans in Arizona starting to get a little upset with Kevin Cobb. What do you think about this game?
Now, I think if Arizona is going to come out on top, they're going to have to continue with their great running game with Chris Beanie Wells. Last week, he was in 3rd overall in rushing last week. He had like 126 yards rushing against the Giants, and I think he's going to continue his progress with versus the Minnesota Vikings. I think that Adrian Peterson is still going to run all over Arizona's defense, but I would have to say Minnesota's going to pick up the victory here. I have Minnesota winning somewhere in about 33 or 37 to like 20, 37 to 20, somewhere around there. I think the Cardinals are going to fall drastically in this one.
So you got Minnesota in this game. I agree with you there. I don't see this team dropping to 0-5. They really are not that bad. I got McNabb doing enough, and I got Adrian Peterson having a big game in this one. Give me Arizona or Minnesota in this one, 24-14. Game 4, and we got to keep these under 15 minutes, so we got to get going here. Seattle at the Giants. What do you think, man?
Hands down, it's going to be the Giants. I really like Eli Manning. Brandon Jacobs is questionable in this one. I think that the Giants are going to take this. I think Seattle is going to have a minor setback this week.
Yeah, I think they will too. Tavares Jackson hasn't been great. He hasn't been terrible. But I think in this game he probably will be because he's going to be getting rushed. Even though the Giants do have a banged-up defense, I think Ahmad Bradshaw, you look for him to have a real big game in this. And I like Seattle to come out on top on this, or the Giants to come out on top in this one. Game 5, Tennessee going to Pittsburgh. Tennessee surprised a lot of people. But do you see Tennessee beating Pittsburgh?
You know what? I think Tennessee's going to possibly pull off a victory, but if Pittsburgh is going to win, which most likely they probably will, but I'm going to go with Tennessee in this one. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers last week were just terrible versus the Texans. Roethlisberger sustained an injury, messing up his ankle. Rashard Mendenhall is going to be injured in this week. He's going to be doubtful, but they really need to step up on offense. They're going to have to go with Mike Wallace a lot in the air in this one. And if Rashard Mendenhall does not play, you're going to need a big step up with Mueldy Moore. And if Ben Roethlisberger does sit out on some plays and Charlie Batch's got to come in, I can see Pittsburgh being terrified right now. I think that Tennessee can come out on top, but most likely I'm gonna have to say Pittsburgh though. But I have to go with Tennessee though. You guys know what I mean.
Yeah, we know what you mean. He's got Tennessee in this one, pulling off an upset. I don't see it. I'd like Pittsburgh to step it up in this game, and I like a 20-14 Pittsburgh win. New Orleans going into Carolina. It should be an interesting game. Cam Newton's been hot, but all in all, I think Cam Newton is not going to do enough to beat a New Orleans Saints team that has been doing what he's done through the air for the last 4 or 5 seasons. I see New Orleans coming out on top of this one pretty easily. I got New Orleans 30-13.
No doubt, man. I'll even take that. New Orleans 30-13. I think Cam Newton is going to have a decent game, but not good enough to get past Drew Brees and the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really agree more there. Cincy goes into Jacksonville, yet another 1 o'clock game. What do you think about this one?
Now, I really like Cincinnati in this one. They came off a victory off the Bills. At the last second, Mike Nugent comes in and kicks a game-winning field goal to make Buffalo 3-1 on the season. Now, Andy Dalton, everybody's underestimating what Andy Dalton can do. I really like Andy Dalton to come into Jacksonville and just throw all over the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Now, they're not the greatest defense in the NFL. They lost some key guys during the offseason, Justin Durant, Kirk Morrison, to name a few. But I really like Andy Dalton. He's probably going to throw at least over 200 yards passing in this one. Give me Cincinnati overall.
Yeah, I agree. Cincinnati must have the easiest schedule in the entire NFL this year. But I like Cincinnati in this one. Andy Dalton has been pretty successful so far. He's been inconsistent, but against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think he should have enough of a game to win. I got 24-17 Cincy. Oakland going into Houston. Al Davis obviously died today, so it's not going to be in Oakland, but you know the Raiders will be playing with heavy hearts, at least those of them on the team who liked Al Davis, which I'm not sure how many people did. What do you think about this game?
Now, this is going to be a very emotional game for the Oakland Raiders, and Houston, going in this one, they're not going to have Andre Johnson, which is going to suck for the Texans. It's also going to suck for me because I have Andre Johnson on my fantasy league, and if the Houston Texans are going to come out on top, they really have to use Jacoby Jones correctly. And their running game, they really need Arian Foster to step up, but I have to go with Houston. I think Oakland is going to put up a big fight in tribute to Al Davis, but I can still see Houston coming out on top.
I like what Houston's done this season, but I don't see them as a 5-0 team. I think that this is one of those games I'm going to look at and say, this is one of those type of games that, yeah, Oakland's not the better team, but I like what Oakland's done so far, and give me Oakland on a big game from Darren McFadden. Now, we move to the 4:05 games right now, and that would be Tampa Bay at San Francisco. What do you think there?
Tampa Bay versus San Francisco. Now, Tampa Bay, who almost made the playoffs last year, they're coming off a Monday Night Football victory over Indianapolis. San Francisco's doing pretty good so far this year. I'm going to take Tampa Bay in this one. I think LeGarrette Blount's going to have a good game. What the problem is going to be going for the 49ers is that will Frank Gore be healthy in this one? I'm still going to go with Tampa Bay in this one, but can Frank Gore step up for the 49ers is the question here.
Yeah, that really is a big question. He didn't last week, he actually played very well. In the 10 carries, he got 100 yards. That's just how bad the Eagles have been this season, simply put there. But Tampa Bay's a really good team, and I think they're much better than the 49ers right now. Give me Tampa Bay in this one. I like what Josh Freeman and LeGarrette Blount have going down there, and I think that Tampa Bay should win this one 23-10. San Diego, your Chargers going into Denver. To me, this should be one of those games that Phillip Rivers has a huge game, but I've said that a few times this year. What do you think?
Now, San Diego barely coming off victories they came off victories, but San Diego faced teams in the past that should have been blown out. It's like the Miami Dolphins. San Diego won 26-16. Going into Denver, I'm going to see San Diego coming out on top here. I still think that Denver really needs to correct some stuff on their defense. Now, last week they gave up, 42 points to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And I think San Diego's going to come into Oakland and score at least 30 Denver's going to score at least 20 some odd points in this game. I have San Diego on top. Well, I'm not being a bandwagon here. It's just superficial information right here. So, give me San Diego. I still see Phillip Rivers getting at least 300 yards passing in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I see like 330 in this game for them. And Denver continues to go downhill. Who knows what they're going to do right now. Maybe they're going to put Tim Tebow in. I don't think that will really change much. But I like San Diego in this game, and I like them to come out 35-24. Now, the second last game, last 4:15 game, Jets go into New England. What do you think about this one?
Man, this is the most heated rivalry in sports right now, the Jets, New England. Now, I can't really give a prediction because I really like Tom Brady and the Patriots and what their success is so far. And I also like the Jets right here. Even though the Jets are struggling right now, I'm going to leave this one undecided because I know Mark Sanchez and the Jets are really going to have to step up. Nick Mangold is supposed to be playing because he was the key loss to the Jets' loss last week. I know their offensive line was just god-awful versus the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to leave this one undecided, Tim. I just can't make a prediction.
I don't think the Jets are playing enough defense. Mark Sanchez just looked just terrible last Sunday night. I like in this one, in his second big matchup, Mark Sanchez to struggle yet again, and I like New England in this game, 27-13. Final game, another huge rivalry. Green Bay goes into the Georgia Dome. Can Green Bay move to 5-0 here, Justin?
I see yes. I think what is this, the rematch of the divisional game or the championship game?
Divisional.
This is a rematch of the divisional game. I see Aaron Rodgers having a tremendous game. I think Atlanta's going to put up a great fight, but I see Aaron Rodgers and the Pack taking this one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You basically just talked me into it because I was thinking about going with the Falcons, but then I'm remembering that game last year. There is no way in hell they're winning this game. Give me the Packers 28-17 in this one. That's our Week 5 predictions. We'll see you later.